Hi, it's Jarvis here from WIT. Today I'm going to run through a case study of NodeMate. Now NodeMate is software that we've written for the Australian Energy Market Operator, which compares two raw files, so P2C raw files, to determine whether or not there are differences between the two files. Now where this may differ from our previous software, which is called Grid Compare, is that Grid Compare requires two substantially similar files. So the bus numbers and bus names must match identically, or at least the bus numbers must match identically. And then it would report on the differences based on that comparison. Whereas this software is more interested in what are the differences between the two files, even though the bus numbers may be different and the bus names could be different as well. So it has a more advanced matching algorithm inside, which can determine differences even based on the network layout alone. It uses some advanced graphing algorithms to determine those matches. Now the Australian Energy Market Operator controls the electricity market throughout Australia and works with a number of different transmission network operators. So each of those transmission network operators have their own representation of the network, and they send these representations to AEMO, who must now reconcile those files against their own to see what is different, what's changed. And this was a problem when each one of those was using a different convention internally for representing the network. I'm going to compare the default raw file that comes with P2C. Now I'm comparing the same file against itself, however I've changed all of the bus numbers and all of the bus names to be unrecognizable. So if you can see here, this is the separate file, and all of the bus names have been encoded with ROT13 encryption to be completely different from their original parts, and the bus numbers have been changed as well. The only thing I haven't changed are any of the voltages, and I haven't changed any of the lines. So a bus that was previously connected to another bus is still connected to that same bus via the transformer or line as it may be. Now we'll open up NodeMate and load in these two cases first and the second. Now NodeMate has not found any matches automatically. What it attempts to do is find matches based on identical bus numbers, very similar names and voltages in the same area, and then it would consider this to be fairly close and attempt to match that to seed the matching algorithm with those buses. It wasn't able to do that this time because the bus numbers and names are substantially different. Often it's the case that generator buses and other important buses around the network would have the same numbers and similar names. Now we'll go through and add a manual match. We know that because they read in the same order, I do know that these two are the same node, but let's convince ourselves that they are. I've selected here the lower voltage node in either case, and we can see it's connected to a single high voltage node. Let's explore that higher voltage node, and we can see here that both connect to two generator type buses and also to the high voltage network here. So I'm quite confident that this is in fact the same node, this high voltage one here. So let's mark them both as being a match. So we've made a single match so far, and let's rerun the automatic matching algorithm. Now the automatic matching algorithm has found 14 matches and 18 unmatched still. So we have an overview of the network here. We can see it's drawn out the network as far as it knows it so far. So each one of these represents a matched node. So we can see here that bus 203 matched to 2203. And we can see in black represents the matched nodes, and we can grow the network out to see where things may have gone wrong. So let's zoom in on this node here, this Midtown bus. It's a 500 kV bus, and it has two lines coming off it that are unmatched, the purple representing one case and the red representing another. It's possible that these two are in fact the same node, so I'll select them both, West and JRFG, and we'll explore them both in more detail. So we can see West and JRFG have both been selected, and both are connected to this mid bus. There's a little asterisk on the bus meaning that it has been matched. So we click on that bus, and we can see that all of the other connections to that bus are matched on both of them, except for this single line coming out. I suspect that this is in fact a high quality match, so let's go ahead and match it and rerun the matching algorithm. And we find that all of the buses have now been matched based on those two manual matches that we've made. When we click on the network, we can see it's been drawn out in full. There are no more additional nodes, they're all in black. And we click the review matches page, and we can see that all of the matches are listed here, along with more detailed information about each match. And we can explore the network through here and explore each match. Now, NodeMate also handles a case where one of the cases may have had a zero impedance line matching, joining many buses together, and so it would recognize that fact and handle incoming connections to those other links and treat all of those links as being a single node or a single bus. But in this case, it was quite simple. There weren't any zero impedance buses. Now, an interesting part about NodeMate is that we consider those manual matches that you've made to initially start off the matching process to be very high quality, since they were input by the user, and we keep them around for future matches. So for instance, if you were to load a new file in, it would attempt to check against this library of matches that you've made in the past to kickstart the matching process. So this way we can build up a high quality library and keep that with us and improve it as time goes on as we come across new files. Of course, if a single one of these library items is causing you any problems, you can turn it off for this specific case or turn it back on. Then we can of course report on everything that's happened so far, which will give us a full Excel report on all of the matched buses, the matched edges, as in the match lines being transformers or lines, and also it would report on any unmatched buses or lines, as well as some statistics about the match process. So that's our NodeMate. If you'd like to learn more about NodeMate, you can contact us at hello@wit.com.au, or just send us an email and we'll reply. If you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear about them too. Thanks.